Stacy Lakes Califan with the Expat View, and today I'm here with Catherine Winkler. She's a famous Swiss artist, and around us we have some of her art, some of the paper cuttings that she does, and some of her immigrant ceramics. And we're actually drinking tea out of one of her pots, her teapots. And Catherine's going to talk to us today about coming to the United States. And talk to us about how long you've been here and how your art's helped you adapt.
Yeah, I've been here for 12 years now, and we came not as expats, but we came as immigrants. So I think it's completely different if you're an expat or an immigrant. But we wanted to come because we were ready for a new experience, and America still has this can-do thing that we wanted to experience. And so we arrived in January 2000, which was very hot in Houston, and I wasn't too pleased with that, but got used to it. And for me it was a bit different because knowing that we were going to stay, I wanted to meet people, I wanted to, you know, to meet Americans. I didn't want to stay in this expat bubble. I wanted to experience the real thing. And as an artist, perhaps for me, it's really been interesting because it was not easy at the beginning, I would say, because I had a ceramic degree, the very old traditional Swiss way, and which is more like an apprenticeship, which is more like history. It's still done in the craft tradition of Europe. And when I came here, this degree was not recognized. I was extremely frustrated. And but I still opened my studio and tried to go around, you know, meeting people until I had my accident in 2003, and then I went back to doing the paper cuttings, and now I only do the paper cuttings.
Okay, can you talk about some of the messages that are in your art?
I think what you know, I feel very deeply about things which I think I've always felt deeply about. Things like the environment is a very, very important topic for me. Perhaps coming from Switzerland, which is a very small country, very environment friendly, and then you arrive in Texas, is a bit of cultural shock. You know, because I used to recycle, I used to go shopping with my own bags, so that was a learning process. What makes me very happy is after 12 years I've seen it change. So that's a very, very important aspect. And you know, so the environment became a big topic in my work. And then, of course, women.
And you have a show in San Antonio that's being sponsored by Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, it's a show sponsored by Planned Parenthood. And it's about women. So because, you know, Planned Parenthood had their funding cut, and so they very upset about it because I think what they do is great, and I find very aggravating, and especially that we in the 21st century in America, that women's rights should be questioned. You know, that women's rights should be questioned because of politics. It really aggravates me. And I come from a country, you know, Switzerland, where women's rights have been much slower to happen. It was not very common for women to work when I was growing up. The message we received was, you can do whatever you want until you get married. And then the day you get married, it's your husband, your children, your family. So I lived with this idea and perhaps a bit of guilt that comes in it as well. And then I come to America and I see all these women, you know, totally liberated, working, career, 3 kids, and managing, which I don't know how they do it. And so then I think in my life things started to change because I questioned things. I questioned, you know, women's position in the society and everything. And I think that was a very, very important transition in my work.
Okay. So what advice would you give to expatriate women coming abroad, whether the United States or somewhere else?
I think the first thing I would say, you know, to a woman, the problem when you're an expat is that very often you have completely focused on your family. And so you follow a man, you follow your husband going from one country to the other. So of course it's lovely because you've traveled, you've seen a lot of things. But on the other hand, I think it's so important for a woman to find her identity. You know, to know who you are. And if you are an expat and you've got the privilege of not having to work, still do things. And this is how I did it, it was to volunteer. And you know, find a field that you like. I love the art world, so I immediately volunteered in museums and I absolutely loved it. It was a wonderful way to meet people, and there's so much going on in the volunteering. If you just go on these websites, it's amazing. And no matter what your background is, you can always find something, I think, that is interesting.
Good.
And that for me helped me to transition and to still feel needed a little bit, you know, because you tend to feel, I didn't have children, so I still had to find a way to go out and meet people. And I would say, you know, find your balance doing something or study. Make sure you do something for you. Me time, I call it.
Good, I like the me time concept. So to keep your identity, to relish in your identity, to create an identity, not to lose that when you go abroad, because you can get caught up in so much of the expat trying to set up house, trying to get things going, and you lose yourself. But to you know, to think about yourself, it's important to take care of yourself. Good. Well, thank you very much for joining us on Expat View, and please visit us at our website at www.theexpatview.com and like us on Facebook.